Open source intelligence, or OSINT, sounds complex, but honestly it is actually quite simple. It is the art and science of collecting information from public sources. Think of it as being a digital detective. You are not hacking into private systems. You are not breaking any laws. Instead, you are piecing together a puzzle. The puzzle pieces are scattered all over the internet. They are hiding in plain sight. Anyone can find them if they know where to look. This information is open source because it is publicly available. It is not classified. It is not locked behind a password-protected door that you do not have the key for. It is information that people and companies have willingly or sometimes accidentally put out into the world for everyone to see. OSINT is not a new concept. Governments and journalists have used it for decades. They used it to understand foreign affairs. They used it to investigate stories. They would analyze newspapers, radio broadcasts, public reports. In 2025, the game has changed dramatically. The internet is the new public square. It is a vast, endless library of human information. Why do people search for phone numbers? The reasons are as varied as people themselves. At its core, it often comes down to a fundamental human need, the need for connection. You might have lost the number of a childhood friend. Life gets busy. People move. Old address books fade. Finding that number is about reconnecting with a part of your past. It is about rekindling a friendship that once meant the world to you. In these cases, the search is driven by nostalgia and a genuine desire to reach out. It is a positive and heartfelt mission. The goal is simply to say hello after many years have passed. There are also practical, everyday reasons for such a search. Imagine you are a small business owner. A potential client left you a message, but their number was garbled. They gave you their name and the company they work for. Finding their direct line could be the difference between securing a new contract and losing a valuable opportunity. Or perhaps you are involved in a minor traffic incident. The other person gives you their name and email, but you want to follow up with a phone call to sort out the insurance details. Having a direct line of communication can simplify the process and prevent misunderstandings. Of course, there is a more cautious side to these searches as well. Safety and verification are huge drivers. Not long ago, finding a phone number was a very different process. The tools were clunky and often expensive. The primary method was to use online people search websites. White Pages, Spokeo. They function by scraping and purchasing massive databases of information. This includes public records, marketing data, and old directory listings. You would enter a name and a city, and the site would spit out a list of potential matches. It was a bit like a digital phone book, but often with outdated and inaccurate information. It was a shot in the dark. The problem with these old services was their reliability, or lack thereof. The data was often stale. A phone number listed could be from 5 or 10 years ago, long since disconnected. The services also operated on a frustrating payment model. They would show you a tantalizing preview, but would hide the actual phone number behind a paywall. You would have to subscribe to a monthly service or pay a one-time fee, with no guarantee that the number you paid for was even correct. It was a gamble, and investigators often wasted time and money chasing down these dead ends. It was an inefficient and frustrating process for everyone. The revolution in OSINT has changed this landscape entirely. The new way is smarter, more targeted, and often free. Instead of relying on a single static database, modern techniques use live dynamic data. The new philosophy is not to look for a phone number directly. Instead, we look for the digital breadcrumbs a person leaves behind. We focus on usernames. A person's username is often their most consistent digital identifier across multiple platforms. The modern OSINT toolkit for finding phone numbers is lean and powerful. You do not need a suite of expensive software. The most effective tools are web-based and built on aggregation. They pull data from countless sources and present it in a unified dashboard. First, username scrapers. Example, name checkup. Example, profile sniffer. Input a username, scan hundreds of social media sites, scan forums, scan websites. This is the foundational step. Second, data breach aggregators. Most major services have had breaches. Breaches expose usernames, email addresses, sometimes phone numbers. Tools like BreachDB index those leaks. These are public leaked data indexes, not the dark web. Search a username or an email address to see what was exposed, including possible phone numbers. Third, social media footprint analyzers. Analyze the profiles the scraper finds. People often leave contact info public. Instagram business profile, contact button, Facebook marketplace post with a number, Twitter bio with contact details, YouTube video description with contact info. It takes manual searching, but it's often there. Finally, advanced search engine techniques. Google dorking. It's a method, not a separate tool. Use specific search operators to narrow results. Combined automated tools and manual techniques form the core of the 2025 OSINT workflow. Every investigation begins with a single piece of information. Your first step is to gather every little detail you already know about the person you are searching for. This is your starting point, your collection of digital breadcrumbs. Do not dismiss any piece of information as too small or insignificant. Write it all down. What is their full name? Any possible spellings or variations of their name? Approximate age or date of birth? City, state, country, past residences? Every detail helps narrow the search from millions to a handful. Next, focus on their known digital presence. Do you know their email address? This is incredibly valuable. Do you know them from a specific social media platform? What is their username on that platform? The username is often the golden key. People are creatures of habit. Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, gaming accounts. If you only know one profile, note that username. This will be the primary piece of data we use next. Think about their professional life and hobbies. Where do they work? What is their job title? Knowing their employer can be a huge advantage. What are their interests? Avid cyclist. They might be active on a cycling forum. Software developer. Likely has a GitHub account. Once you have gathered these details, organize them. This organized approach prevents going in circles. Now that you have your initial breadcrumbs, particularly a potential username, it is time to put the first tool to work. We will use a username enumeration service. In 2025, there are many free and powerful options for this. These web-based tools, like the hypothetical name checkup, function on a very simple premise. You enter the target username into a single search bar. The service then rapidly checks hundreds of different websites, Instagram, TikTok, niche forums, creative portfolio sites, to see if an account with that username exists. It is an automated and incredibly fast process. When you hit search, the tool will present you with a list of results. This will typically be a grid of website logos. The logos for sites where the username is registered will be highlighted and clickable. This immediately gives you a broad overview of the person's digital footprint. You might find they have a Twitter account you did not know about, a Pinterest board full of their interests, a Reddit profile where they discuss their hobbies. This step is about expanding your map of their online presence. You started with one known location and now you have a dozen potential new places to look for information. Your task now is to click through each of these results. Open each active profile in a new browser tab. Do not just glance at them. Analyze them carefully. Look at the profile picture. Is it the same person? Look at the bio or about me section. People often list their personal website, their business, their email address directly in their bio. Pay close attention to the content they are posting. Do the posts align with the other information you know about the person? Are they talking about living in the correct city? Are they posting pictures of a pet you know they have? This is the verification stage. As you go through each profile, look for any direct or indirect mentions of contact information. This is where patience is key. Someone might not list their number in their bio, but they might have made a post 2 years ago trying to sell furniture and included their number. It is a manual process of digital archaeology. If the manual search of social media profiles does not yield a phone number, do not be discouraged. Our next step is to take the information we have gathered, specifically confirmed usernames, any email addresses we found, and check them against a data breach aggregator. As mentioned, a service like our hypothetical BreachDB is a search engine for information exposed in public data breaches. This is a crucial step in modern OSINT because it taps into data people did not intentionally make public. Go to the data breach search engine. You will typically see a simple search bar. Start by entering the primary username you have been tracking. The engine will scan its massive database of leaked credentials from thousands of breaches. If that username appears in any of them, the service will tell you which breaches it was found in. For example, the username jsmith88 might appear in the MyFitnessPal breach, 2018, and in the Canva breach, 2019. The results will often show what kind of data was exposed in that specific breach. Email, phone number, password. This is where you might find the phone number. If the Canva breach included phone numbers and your target's username was in that breach, the aggregator may display the phone number that was associated with the account at that time. It is important to note that this information might be old. However, people change their phone numbers far less frequently than they change their passwords. There is a very good chance the number is still active. Repeat this process for any other usernames you discovered, and most importantly, for any email addresses you found. Email addresses are often a more reliable key in these breach databases. Once you have a potential phone number from a breach, proceed with caution and skepticism. The number could be old, or it could belong to a different person who once used that username. Your final step is to try and verify the number. Save the number in your phone's contacts under the person's name. Then check messaging apps like WhatsApp or Signal. If the person has an account linked to that number, their profile picture might pop up. This provides a strong visual confirmation that the number belongs to your target. Having the ability to find this information comes with a great deal of responsibility. Just because you can find someone's phone number does not always mean you should. Your actions as an investigator are governed by both legal boundaries and ethical considerations. It is critical that you understand and respect these rules. Legally, the methods we have discussed fall under the umbrella of collecting publicly available information. You are not hacking. You are not accessing private accounts. You are simply observing what is already in the public domain. In most jurisdictions, this is perfectly legal. However, what you do with that information is where legal issues can arise. The most important rule is to never use this information for harassment, stalking, intimidation, or any form of malicious contact. Using a phone number you found to threaten or repeatedly bother someone is illegal. It can lead to serious legal consequences, including restraining orders and criminal charges. The purpose of your search must be legitimate and lawful. Reconnecting with an old friend is legitimate. Verifying a seller from an online marketplace is legitimate. Using a number to scare an ex-partner is not. Always consider your intent before you even begin the search. If your purpose feels wrong, it probably is. Do not cross that line. Beyond the law, there is your ethical compass. Think about the privacy of the individual. They may have accidentally exposed their number in a data breach or an old forum post. They did not consent to you finding it and using it. Therefore, when you make contact, do so respectfully. Be transparent. Do not pretend you got the number from a mutual friend. A simple, honest approach is best. For example, "Hi, my name is Michael. I was doing some research online to try and reconnect with old colleagues and came across your number. I hope you don't mind me reaching out." This honesty respects their autonomy and gives them the chance to engage or disengage comfortably. As you learn these techniques to find information about others, it is equally important to turn the lens on yourself. Take the time to audit your digital footprint. The same tools and methods can also be used to find yours. This is not a reason to panic. Be proactive and mindful of the data you share. The best defense is good digital hygiene. Start by Googling your own name and usernames. See what comes up. You might be surprised by what is publicly available. This is the first step toward taking control of your personal data. Go through your social media profiles with a critical eye. Set your profiles to private where appropriate. Facebook, Instagram. Review your old posts. Did you ever post your phone number publicly? If so, delete those old posts. Check the settings on all of your accounts. Many platforms have privacy settings that control search discovery and contact visibility. Take a few minutes to navigate these settings and lock down your information. Do not link accounts unless you need to. Think twice before using a social media account to log into other services. Use the same tools we discussed on yourself. Run your common usernames through a username scraper to find forgotten accounts. Run your email addresses through a data breach aggregator. Run your usernames through a data breach aggregator as well. This will show you where your data has been compromised. If you find your credentials in a breach, change your password for that service immediately. If you reuse that same password elsewhere, you must change it everywhere. Use a unique, strong password for every single account. A password manager can make this task easy. Ultimately, navigating the digital world of 2025 is about balance. It's about understanding how information flows and how to both find it when needed and protect it when required.